Hey everybody, I just figured I would do a quick little video on stropping a Sloyd knife. There's a common misconception that you need to sharpen every time you carve a spoon or carve anything really. And if you take care of your knives and just strop them from time to time just to bring that edge back, then you're way less likely to get nicks in your cutting edge or inconsistencies or something like that that will make it so that your finished product isn't as great as it could be. I've gotten some requests for videos like this, so I'll probably do one for Sloyd stropping, and I'll probably do one for spoon knife stropping as well, because people are tending to have problems with that, and I've been getting a lot of messages about it. So what I have here is just a Mora 106 that I've handled with some maple burl that I got from my friend Ben Borchard up in Canada, and just a quick little birch bark sheath that I made for it. And although this probably doesn't quite need it yet, it's kind of a preventative medicine stropping. So I'll grab some of the compound that I have here and I'll kind of quickly show you how that's done. What I mostly use is this stuff. It's the Dialux brand, and I use the blue and the orange the most. A lot of people use the green compound because it comes free with a lot of strops and other things like that. Me personally, I prefer this stuff. It comes in a lot of different colors. The white is kind of like a jewelry polishing type compound. You can really get a serious mirror finish on your knives with that stuff. But you just put a quick little layer of that on your strop, and all I have here is a paddle of hardwood, I think it's maple, with maybe about 1.25 inches wide veg tanned leather, flesh side up. And all you really want to do is line up your bevel, make sure your bevel is nice and flat, and keep that bevel flat the whole time. And you want to do a pass on each side, one after the other, instead of doing 5 on one side and going, oh man, I don't remember how many I did. Next thing you know, you have an uneven cutting edge, an edge that's not centered. This is it seems fairly easy. It looks fairly easy. Now that I've been doing it for a while, it is fairly easy. But when I first started carving, I wasn't as good at it as I could have been. I had previous experience with bushcraft knives and stuff like that. And this was the first time, once I had started carving, that I got into scandi grind knives, really. I think I had one Mora, but I didn't really use it at the time. I don't even remember which model it was, to be totally honest. But scandi knives are the easiest to sharpen. The bevels are nice and fat and wide, and they almost want to stay nice and flat on that strop for you. A lot of other blade geometries might not tend to do that as well for you, and you might have to go slower or really refine your skills with it. Now I will drag the edge away and come towards the tip as I'm coming this direction, while lifting the end of the handle up a little bit, because the geometry of this cutting edge requires that. That's how I stay flat on that bevel the whole time. And I mean, you're not a prep cook, you're not a sous chef, you're not trying to do this super fast. We're not working in Japanese restaurants here. Speed is not of the essence. You need to keep a true cutting edge. You need to keep it, right down the center. So back and forth, one side and then the next. That's all you need to do. And depending on how bad your cutting edge is, if it's got little micro nicks or micro dings in it, you might have to do this 100 times. If you're just kind of touching it up because you just finished carving a spoon and you want to make sure it's ready to go next time, which is, in my opinion, what you should be doing, every time, then it might only take you 25 times on each side. To be honest, I don't really count. I'm not going 1, 1, 2, 2. I just go until it seems like it's time to move on to the next compound, and I generally only have to use 2. It's a very rare occasion for me to have to use sandpaper slips or ceramic stones or diamond stones, for that matter. I don't think I've touched any of my carving tools with diamond stones at all, unless I was trying to reprofile an edge. but this is really all that should be required. I hear a lot of people lately carving black walnut, and it's really tearing their blades up, and that's a whole different story. Some of the mineral contents in some of these woods are pretty aggressive, and even though it feels easy on your knives, you look at them afterwards, like under a jeweler's loop or something like that, and you see little dings and cuts all over the place. So anyways, that's the orange compound done. And then for the blue compound, I don't normally do this in my vise, by the way. Normally I just do it on a kitchen counter, but I figured this would be better, more controlled. This is pretty much the same setup, a little bit larger of a strap, but I will use the Dialux Blue on here, and this is skin side up on the leather, not flesh side up. So this is a lot finer and really lends itself to a better polish, which at the end of your sharpening, that's what you're looking for. You're really just polishing it. You're not trying to take away crap loads of metal, a bunch of material. You're really just honing it. That's all stropping is. It's not really sharpening the way a lot of people think it might be. The amount of material taken away is so minute. And you might not even know that you're taking material away if it weren't for the fact that your stropping compound is turning gray or black, much like this. And the amount of pressure on this, the amount of pressure I'm putting down on the bevel here, that's really, that's up to you. Obviously, the more aggressive, the more metal it's going to take off. But if you're super aggressive about it, you might not be as controlled, and you might end up having some kind of accident. And with me sitting here with my thumb on the bevel and the tip of this knife fairly close to my offhand, my support hand, I'm in no hurry, and I'm not putting a crazy amount of pressure onto it. Really just moderate. Obviously more than the weight of my hand itself, but that's something you'll probably have to figure out for yourself. I had heard that, like, let's say I did 50 on each side with my starting compound, my orange compound, which is actually black. I hear you're supposed to do 100 on each side for your finer compound, and that might be the case. I haven't found myself getting that scientific with it, to be totally honest. If I take this to my arm or the top of my hand where there's hair, and it takes hair off, with zero effort, it's good enough for me. I don't need anything more than that. I'm not trying to drop a hair on it and have it split in half or anything crazy like that. If I wanted to spend that kind of time on it, I probably could get it that sharp, but then I would not be enjoying carving as much. I'd be enjoying sharpening instead. And I'm not aspiring to be some kind of sharpening god. I want to be decent at spoon carving, and this is just something I have to do to get there. And this blade is fairly new. I've only carved a few spoons with it, so this actually, I don't know how well you can see this, this still has some of the tool marks in it straight from Mora knife. You can see them perpendicular to the cutting edge, and it'll take a while to get those out. Technically I probably should take those out before I even carve with it, because then it's as sharp as it's ever going to be. But it does just fine like this. Mora makes a good knife straight from the factory, at least their Sloyd knives. The 106 here. The 120 is a pretty good knife too, although a lot shorter, and I feel like you can do less with it. But at the same time, it also might be a little bit safer because you have a lot less of it toward your offhand while you're carving. So a lot less likely to slip and have an accident if you don't have, excess blades sticking out when you're using it. But I found that this knife is pretty much perfect for me, as a lot of other carvers have. This is not something that's new on the market. This has been out for a long time. And Mora has really perfected this design. You can get hand-forged Sloyd knives, which I have one or two of those, and I actually prefer the Mora over it. Like I said, they've just done their homework. This knife, in my opinion, is close to perfect, especially for the price. I think I paid, just for this blank, maybe $26 or $28 maybe, something like that. And did the handle myself. I believe you can actually get the knife already handled for cheaper than that, and I'm not really sure why that is. But I have, I think, 3 of these knives now. I have one with this, the one you see here with the maple burl handle from my buddy Ben. I have one with a U handle, and one with a standard handle straight from the factory. So this is as good as I really need to get it, and hopefully this will focus. But the amount of hair that this takes off effortlessly is ridiculous. Shaving sharp, that is what people mean when they say it. So that's going to be it. If you guys got any questions, feel free to drop me a comment. I will post this up to my Facebook as well as YouTube, and I think I'll upload this, and then I'll do one on hook knife sharpening while I'm out here. And what I'll be using for that is a Robin Wood open sweep or open curve spoon carving knife, because this is what I use most frequently, and it could use a good strop. So with that, I'll go over, I'll be using the paddle strops as well, or not paddle strops, but you know, these same kind of strops here. And also I'll be using a dowel strop like this. So thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you like this. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Share away, definitely, if you want your friends to see it, or you want to save it on your Facebook, go ahead and share it. And appreciate you guys watching. Thanks a lot.